pants are falling off.
So that's going to be on the way.
Is that because you have no ass?
I have no ass. Never claimed to have an ass.
'Cause even in the madness, there is peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony. And even in the madness, there is peace, drowning out the voices all around me. Through all of this chaos, you are writing a symphony, a symphony. Oh.
I'm spending the weekend down near Houston to go sailing. Originally, I was going to do this to make my resume for the insurance companies look good, but I'm spending more on sailing than I would save. So what's the point? Well, I'm really doing it because I want to be good at this when we get our own boat. That, and I really enjoy sailing. It's a good way to get your mind right, and it's fun to see old friends. And speaking of old friends, this is my buddy Chris. We go way back to high school. He got into sailing before I did, so he was ready to head down to get some more hours in. Now, when you drive to Houston, there's only one place that warrants a stop. If you're taking a road trip anywhere in Central and South Texas and you see a sign for Buc-ee's, you must follow it. Buc-ee's is a mecca for convenience store junkies like myself. It is the most gigantic convenience store I have ever been to, and they sell everything. Need a cooler? They got it. Deer corn? Got it. $100 bottles of wine? They got that too. The best part of Buc-ee's, in my opinion, is the jerky. They have about 20 kinds, and the best flavor is Bohemian garlic. Just get some, you won't be disappointed. A close second in awesomeness is beaver nuggets. Can't explain what they are, but get the salted caramel flavor. Trust me. Back on the road, the weather continued to deteriorate. Once we got to Houston, a check of the wind forecast told us what we already knew. We were not going to be sailing on Saturday. So instead of sailing, we cruised around Kemah and did random things, including going to West Marine. Never been to one, but it was pretty fun. While there, I was able to compare chart plotter screens, and an upgrade to the 12-inch screen is probably in the future for Symphony. The next day, the weather cleared somewhat, and we were good to go out into the Galveston Bay. We got a boat from Windward Sea Ventures, the same place where I've done a lot of my lessons. It's a great place. Look them up if you need lessons or a boat. This is Kemah, Clear Lake, Galveston Bay. If you live in Houston, this is a place to go for sailing. We got Hunter for the day. This is technically my first time sailing without adult supervision. Translation, no captain alongside, no others with experience. I didn't think about it at the time, but I guess this was a milestone. Chris and I checked out the boat, got the engines running, made sure everything was looking good for our trip. We did not inspect the rigging and how it worked, which would come back and haunt us a little later when we decided to pull out the sails. In addition to Chris, we had a couple of other friends come along. One of the great things about sailing is that it creates unadulterated time. There are few distractions, nowhere to run off to, just you and the others and the boat and the water and the wind. There's just something about it. I went through a quick briefing with the rest of the gang, and I explained important stuff like where the life vests are, don't get in my way, and I'll yell at you because I care. And with that, we were off. There were no problems leaving the dock, and I've sailed out of this marina a few times, so there was no big deal getting it out into the bay. It's quite a ways to get there, and right at the end is the famous Kemah Pier. Lots of fun, sort of touristy stuff to do there. Once we got out into the bay, we pulled out the sails and started going. We were rusty, but we took our time to remember the things we learned about 6 months ago. Old man brains take longer to remember things than you would think. We struggled with the main. We'd never sailed a boat rig like this, but we stopped, assessed, and figured it out. Captain didn't remember we had switched the sheet off of one of the winches, but we got it sort of. We were heavily reefed for a little while, is probably the best way to put it. After a really crappy first tack, things went smoother, and we settled in and got to catch up. We caught up on a lot of things. We're all moving at light speed in our day-to-day lives, and it takes something like this to stop and catch up. And that was really it. The weather even cleared up a bit here and there, and I got to spend the whole day with some great friends. And at the end of it, it felt like there was something a little bigger here for me than just sailing. Each of these trips is a small start, like a glimpse on what we will eventually be doing in our long-term adventure. Slowing down, appreciating simple things, enjoying good company. And yes, by the way, you must stop at Buc-ee's both ways. Turkey sandwich? Also awesome. Grab one if they have them. No pickles. This trip was about getting better at sailing. And as I drove the last bit back to the ranch, I started going through all of the other preparations we need to do between now and when we get our boat. That's a lot of stuff to do in 3 to 4 months, but as I got closer to home, I let those things slip out of my mind. We'll get them done. I'm home, and I've got a fam that is ready and willing to get us to that starting line. I'll catch you guys up after we get to the Bahamas in a couple of weeks, and thanks for watching.